What is going on, First and 56 Nation? Back in episode of First and 56, Rondo Griffin, Marcus Martin, Anthony Gulick not here for this one. I mean, and I don't blame him really because, Marcus, we're week 3. We're sitting at 0-2. And now we've said it already. I've said it already that the 0-1 thing, that was fine. This past Packers game, now we've got to talk about it. Now we're gonna have some little issues here. I get that it's early in the season. I get that it's a long season. But Marcus, we just lost to a backup quarterback who in his career has never thrown for more than 100 yards in a game. We knew coming in that they were going to run the ball down our throat. By halftime, we were texting each other talking about what's the record for rushing in a game. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. Marcus, let's get with your thoughts. So week 1, obviously, lost to the Texans, but now week 2, lost to the Packers. I know you don't want to hit the panic button, but what's going on here?
Man. I'm a loss for words. It was a good outing week 1. The offense looked like it was clicking on all cylinders. The defense, the biggest issue was stopping the run. And then, we go week 2, you think you got things cleaned up. You think, we know what they're going to do. Backup quarterback, as you said. And, the mindset and the game plan, we knew they were going to run the ball because we gave up all those rushing yards to Houston in week 1. And then to have an outing like we did yesterday or Sunday was embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a Colts fan. It's embarrassing as an organization. It's embarrassing as, for players to come out. I mean, we got receivers jogging down the field, not even running full speed, not even running full sprint. We got receivers dropping the ball. We got receivers can't get open. What is AR to do? You know what I'm saying? The defense can't stop nobody. They can't stop the run. At least we haven't been getting beat deep, deep threats, but if you can run the ball, why even throw the ball if you can run it? It was just horrible. It was horrible watching it. I was embarrassed as a Colts fan, and I hope I don't have to see that same outing again this Sunday.
But I don't know about you, Marcus, but I went back and looked at the game. I counted 6 drop passes. 6. That's a pretty large number. And then you throw in the 3 interceptions, so that's 9 of Richardson's 17 incompletions in that game. Those six drops change a lot. And the 3 interceptions, I'm only going to hold 2 of them against him, obviously. The last one's a Hail Mary. That's whatever. That's kind of whatever stats. Sure. But the 2 interceptions, sure, they were bad. Absolutely. And, I'm going to say that for that. I don't want to jump into that too much. But like you said, the receiver thing. Alec Pierce is the only one that's shown up and come to play. Adonai Mitchell hasn't been there. Him and Richardson still got game 1. Richardson and him just weren't able to connect. But this game, like I texted you, it was just like there was one play in particular. I want to say it was in the 3rd quarter where Richardson set him up perfectly, and Mitchell just stops running. If he fully runs on that, it's a catch. Now you rewatch it, he's probably going to take a hit. Not like a hospital pass or anything, but he was going to take a hit if he went and caught the ball. But you got to go get that. And very notably, too, during the game, Greg Olsen, commentator, he pointed out the fact that that the Colts receivers tend to be doing a lot of body catching. No one is reaching their arms out and going to get the ball. Which, like you said, it's like when you're doing that, and that's coming from a former player. You know what I mean? Game recognized game. When you're doing that, you're not helping your quarterback out. You're young quarterback, year 2, 21. We knew there was going to be growing pains. The blah, blah, blah. He only had 12 starts in college. You only played 4 games last year. We get it. You're not helping him if you're not going to get the ball, especially if he's putting it in a position for you to get it. We'll talk the accuracy again. We'll talk the interceptions, but at the end of the day, you still got to help your guy out.
Absolutely. And we didn't see a lot of that yesterday. We didn't see a lot of that in game one either. Like you said, receivers catching the ball with their bodies instead of their hands. Um, it's like the fundamental and the technique just went out the window over training camp. I mean, like when training camp ended, it's like everything else ended. You know what I'm saying? It's embarrassing, Rondo. And me as a passionate Colts fan, I don't like to see games like that. I don't like to see, you have high hopes for the team, every offseason, coming out the gate, starting out fast. And I don't know if it's, I mean, if you go back and you look at some of the preseason games that that he played in, I'm seeing some of the same plays. That's not like Shane Steichen like. You know what I'm saying? Usually every week he's got a different playbook. He's got a different wrinkle. He's got different plays that he runs. And like the past couple of weeks, I've been seeing like the same plays. Let's open up that playbook a little bit. Our offensive line has been excellent, except for week one and, against the run. But, Houston, they stacked the box. They had 7 or 8 guys in the box. They wasn't going to let Jonathan Taylor beat them. You know what I'm saying? They were beatable in week one in the pass game. We were killing them. You know what I'm saying? So Green Bay didn't do that last week. Jonathan Taylor had over 100 yards rushing, so the offensive line is doing a fairly decent job. It's just the receivers are not giving Anthony Richardson no help. And then, of course, you're going to have the growing pains with a young quarterback. Like you said, the interceptions, that third one, we're not even going to worry about that. That was a Hail Mary, just trying to get some, see if he can get lucky. But we got to surround AR with some help. We have to be able to help the quarterback out. It seems like the only time that we can get a good play is if he scrambles out and throws on a run. And then it's like the receivers know what to do when the scramble drill comes out. But if he's just sitting in the pocket and trying to stand tall, it's like the receivers can't get open. And I don't get that. And then you give a person like Pittman a huge extension, and he's got 2 catches in 2 games. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's supposed to be our number 1 receiver. Where is he at? He hasn't shown up in 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. I was big on the desk of Pittman needs to get his money. He's proven it. He's did all the right things. He's proven it. He's shown up. And like you said, I'm gonna see it 2 catches. He's had 7 catches on the year, but I get your point. You know what I mean? Because he's been quiet. He's been extremely quiet. Like I said, Alec Pierce has so far on the early stat sheet has been leading the team in terms of receptions, yards, and even touchdowns. But with you, Pittman is a guy, and like I've said, it's like he's a volume guy. He should be the safety blanket. But let's say you're not getting open. Look at the stats. He is, in terms of all eligible receivers on the stats, he is the bottom number. He is 3 from the bottom in terms of separation. That's not elite. And this is a guy who we've talked about it on this show, to where we were saying that this is his chance to vault into the world's view that he is a top 10 receiver. A lot of people still out there still think that he's a receiver 2 who's masquerading as a receiver 1 due to his team. And part of last year was him showing that he can be a top tier receiver 1. The fact that he's played with 5 different quarterbacks in his 5-year career. And it's a guy where last year, if he didn't go, the offense didn't go. Now, this year with healthy Taylor, it's been, we're going to go with Taylor, and that's fine. But again, unless you're playing it against us, apparently, you can't just run the ball every down and expect to be successful. Back to the point of where we knew Green Bay was going to run it. Marcus, I don't know if you saw the stat, but I believe it was like at halftime or like during the middle of the second quarter, they had to run 20 run plays, and Malik Willis had thrown 2 passes.
Yeah.
And yet they had a 10-point lead. So that right there is unacceptable, especially when, for I don't know, maybe the course of since Ballard has been here, save the last year he had Andrew Luck, the defense has led first on this team. That can't be happening. Look, Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, very good running backs in this league, very respectable talents. Henry never diced up like that. Prime Henry never diced up like that.
Mm-mm.
So you cannot be having that happen.
And I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of, get rid of uh, Gus and stuff like that, and I don't know if you even change defensive coordinators at this time of year right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, um, I haven't been a real big fan of Gus Bradley myself. Just by over the past few years, the way we've been carved up in the secondary. Um, I haven't really been a big fan of him, and I'm actually rooting for a defensive change, hopefully. But this can't happen. This can't happen. You bring back every defensive player that we have and get them an extension, and they get paid. This cannot happen. This. If I'm Ballard, I'm looking at why did I bring these guys? What's going on? We need to figure it out. You get down 0-3 and 0-4, and now your season is pretty much over because it's going to be hard to bounce back for something like that. We need to get it fixed. We need to get it fixed now, rather as changing coordinators. Steichen opening up the playbook. Anthony definitely has to play better, and everybody around him has to play better. This was embarrassing, Rondo, and I don't, like I said, I don't know. I can't really even talk right now because thinking about the game, it was just embarrassing. It wasn't what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, and let's touch this lastly, talking about the defense. I think it was very interesting that, Gus Bradley even started the season with us this year because Bradley wasn't a Steichen guy. He was a right guy. And so Steichen's first year, I kind of understand him not changing it up. But I believe we said it on the end of the year podcast of, last season, at least I said anyway, that I think Steichen should go bring in his own guy. And I think what might have happened is just because the defense was, somewhat successful last year, obviously, franchise record in sacks, deep overall, you said that overall, typically about the same group played well. So it was probably a sense of, what? Defense played well. I don't need to make any changes. We're going to be fine. Obviously, early on, looking terrible. Obviously, we're last against the run in the league. Against the pass, I think we're in the middle of the pack. I don't have numbers in front of me right now. I don't want to look at it because it's probably even worse. But I'm with you. Now, as I've long said, and this goes back to even the Frank Reich mid-season firing, I've long said that I don't really think mid-season firings ever really do anything. I think they're kind of pointless. I think you might as well just wait until the end of the season, with some exception to that, for Reverend like the Urban Meyer situation in Jacksonville. Obviously, that needed to happen. Even for us, with Frank Reich mid-season, I was like, what? Looking back at it, that was for the better. So I don't think Gus Bradley is going to be gone, anytime during this season. Knock on wood. But I think at the end of the year, regardless whether the defense turns around or not, Steichen needs to go in and get his own guy. Like I've said, just for personal preference, I want somebody who's not going to be afraid to bring the house, because I'm not sorry, but that just send 4 crap doesn't work in this NFL.
Mm-mm.
And maybe this is hyperbolic, but I don't care if you have both Bosa brothers, Watt and Aaron Donald on the same line. I don't think even that would work as just sending 4. You know what I mean? Like in this NFL, with all the athletic quarterbacks that we have in the league now, like I said, we were one of the last ones to get one of those guys who can move. Now, obviously, we got a guy who can move at an elite pace, but all the quarterbacks can move. All of them. They can all take off and run. They can all extend plays. Are there levels to it? Sure. But gone are the days, like I said, of the pure pocket passer. There's no more Brady, Manning, Drew Brees, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, guys who will just sit there, and if the rush gets there, you know what? I'm going down. You got the sack. No, they're all going to take off. They're all going to try to extend plays. And so when that's happening, you can't just send 4, because then what happens, Marcus? We saw Stroud and Willis do it. You send 4, you might even get pressure, but they get out and they're picking up a first down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new league, it's a new day. Everybody's moving, everybody can run.
I was listening to the Pat McAfee show the other day, and you know, the Gus Bradley defense, they were saying it's tired out, it's played out. Everybody in the league knows how to attack it. You know what I'm saying? And they even were saying, he has to change it up. He has to go with this new style hybrid defense that everybody is playing, because the old style, because Gus Bradley, he's from the old school and stuff like that. These offensive teams know how to carve that up. Rather if it's short or long, or just running the ball. We got to fix it, and we got to change it up, because the defense that he's running right now is just not working. Too many teams know how to attack it.
Yeah, exactly. It's outdated, and just like how we were one of the last teams to get on the trend of athletic young quarterbacks, we're also on that last trend of this, this traditional. I'm gonna send 4 and play coverage defense. That crap don't work anymore. It's not gonna fly. So let's flip other side of the ball. Let's talk offense. Now obviously, Marcus, it's been a scrutinized topic, but I've got some logic on it. I'm going to let you go first on this. But so let's talk Anthony Richardson. 2 games in, still a little shaky. He's sitting at 49% on the accuracy, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. On paper, obviously, it doesn't look good. But I'm going to let you go first on this, Marcus. He's 21. It's year 2. We knew there was going to be pains when we drafted him. What can you say as a season ticket holder? You put a lot of money into this team. What can you say to calm the masses and that we're gonna be all right? Number 5 is gonna figure it out. He's gonna get better.
I think number 5 is okay. I just think that he has to settle down. The game is a little bit too fast for number 5 right now. But he's only had what 4 NFL starts, 5 NFL starts right now. I think he went down in week 3, week 4 last year or whatever. He just needs to settle down. We need to simplify the playbook for him. Get the plays that he likes to run. You know what I'm saying? And use that to the best of his ability. I think once we get Josh Downs back, which I thought he was going to play this week, but apparently they kept him out another week just for precautionary reasons. I think once he gets his safety blanket, which is Josh Downs, because they seem like they got one of the 1-2 best chemistries on the team right now. I think you'll see his completion percentage start to go up a little bit more. But far as my overall assessment of AR, I think he's done a fabulous job for the first 2 games. I mean, there is some growing pains. We seen him throw that interception the Sunday, and you're like, what are you doing? But the linebacker fooled him. So it wasn't really like he did it on, just trying to get rid of the ball. He did it just because he thought the linebacker was going to do this, but the linebacker ended up doing that. So he tricked him. You know what I'm saying? Which that right there, as the year goes on, he'll identify a lot of that. You'll see him start doing less of that. But we just got to have patience for AR. But to me, I think he's done okay so far. I can tell you he's not the reason why we're 0-2. That I will put that on the line. He's not the reason that we're 0-2.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to reiterate that, or to go on top of that, the thing is that when we drafted him, we knew he was a project. We knew that. None of us were expecting him to come in and blow the doors off. There was going to be growing pains. It was going to be a process. Heck, one of his biggest scrutinized things coming into that draft year was the fact that he only started 14 games in college, which, you and I and Gulick all said was irrelevant. Cam Newton only started 12 games in college. You want to go down that route, and we're talking about the same kind of similar body builds or whatever, similar play styles, that's irrelevant. And I'm agree with you also, he is not the reason we're 0-2. Absolutely not. Like, I am not sorry, but the way the defense has played, not many quarterbacks are going to win with that situation. Heck, go to this last game against the Packers. I think time of possession, I think they might have had 12 more minutes within us. Again, that's me guesstimating. I know it was bad. You know, it might even be higher. Sure. Could he be better? Sure. But again, it's like he's 21, he's in year 2, and he's only played 6 games as a pro. You know, like I said, he only played 4 games in his rookie year. This by default is still kind of a rookie year. He's going to get there. It's going to be better. Stop expecting him to be Mahomes out the gate, to be like CJ Stroud out the gate. It's going to take time. See, when CJ Stroud was drafted, I believe they said he was the most pro ready, right? They either said him or Bryce Young was the most pro ready. And in the case of Bryce Young, I didn't want any part of that. I gave him a bust label, whatever. You know, he's benched over in Carolina. You're not going to bench AR, but we're going to get there. He's at a 50% clip right now. Sure, he's had some bad interceptions. You know, the one I point to is the one to Pittman where just he was blanketed the entire way, and if you rewatch it, he just eyeballed him the entire way. It's a bad pass. It's an absolutely horrific pass. Now, the caveat is, and like I've said it off the air, I'll say it here now, is that as a rookie quarterback, I think you should be leaning on your number one guy more often than anything. You know, that's the guy you need to be going to when you need help and you need to play. You know, and that, like you said, you know, he's had probably the best support with Josh Downs. Josh Downs coming back obviously will help him out. And that's fine. But I think him and Pittman need to figure it out. Pittman is going to be the guy, if he wants to have the most success on this team anyway, that's your number one guy. That's the guy that's going to help you. But on the flip side of that is that you've got to give Pittman a chance to help you. You know, if you're going to, like I said, if you're going to force feed Pittman as your number one guy, it's got to be a ball where either he can get it or nobody gets it. You know, so you're obviously when you're trying to jam a pass in there when he's blanketed and it's not even in a place where he can try to get to it, you're not doing yourself any favors. But I say all that to circle back to this, the fact that he's 21, he's young, there's going to be growing pains. He's not going to come in here and be Superman. But what he will do is he's going to solidify that starting quarterback position for us, you know, and like how everyone said it on his draft day, his ceiling is that when he does boom, it's going to be explosive, potential MVP-like caliber. Now, we're going to have some patience, and when it comes to getting there, and like we're going to repeat it over and over again for probably the course of the season, there are going to be growing pains, but 5 is going to figure it out. Steichen is the perfect guy to help him figure it out. You know, he made Hurts a rock solid NFL quarterback in this league. He can do the same with AR. It's going to take some patience and some time to get there. And, you know, and like I said before on Pop Shows, as Colts fans, we have been spoiled with great quarterback play because we got the privilege of going from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. You look around the league, not many teams get to do that. So, yeah, we had to deal with the past 5 years of the revolving door at quarterback, and it was very annoying. But now we get the guy, and we expect to be back to elite status immediately. It normally doesn't work that way. We got to wait, but he's going to get there. You know, he's absolutely going to get there.
And patience is the key. You know, we just got to be patient with AR. You know, like you said before, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be some, you know, what are you doing type plays or whatever. But he's a winner, and he hates to lose. And if you listen to some of his press conferences, you know, he looks so sad and depressed because the guy wants to win and he wants to be great, you know. But as a team, as you know, they have to give him some help, you know. And, you know, like CJ Stroud's situation when he got to Houston, he had weapons. He had a tight end. He had receivers. You know, at the time they were pretty much no-namer receivers, but they were good receivers. You know, Dalton Schultz, good tight end. So, you know, we don't even have a safety blanket for AR right now at the tight end position. You know what I'm saying? You know, every time Granson seems like he throws the ball to him, it's like he's always freaking falling down, you know? So we as a team, we have to come together and we have to figure this out. Ballard is going to have to come out of that pocketbook at some point. And, you know, to me, he needs veteran presence on this team. Veteran presence to show these guys what it takes to win. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that veteran presence on this team to, you know, we got the what, second or third youngest team in the league. You know, with that veteran presence, you get these guys to understand, the grind and what it takes to win. Ballard doesn't believe in bringing in veterans because he doesn't want to pay them, because he figures, I don't want to pay A money for a C plus or a B plus player, but we've seen it time and time again. Look at Diggs over in Houston. New atmosphere, had 2 touchdowns against us in week 1. When he played in Buffalo, we shut him down every time, and so veteran players sometimes bring out the best in your team. And at some point, Ballard's going to have to realize that we're going to need some veteran presence in this locker room to get these young guys to understand what it takes to win.
Yeah, exactly. And but just before I touch on that real quick, like you mentioned, Andrew Richardson looking sad in his press conferences after the game. I will speak to the maturity level that he has shown so far. Because like how you and I sat here and say that he's not the reason why we're 0-2, he'll tell you that he is the reason why we're 0-2. You know what I mean? And I love that. He's not pointing any fingers at anybody but himself. And obviously it speaks to the volume of his character. It speaks to what Ballard looks for when he's drafting and crafting this roster and building this culture. And I love that humbleness that he has. And it's like, it's so funny that I'm saying it, because obviously I think if we all sat here and he came out and said like, oh yeah, it's not my fault, it's everyone else's fault, we'd be bashing him. So right. Sure, he's saying the right thing, but I think he truly believes it though, and that's a difference. A lot of people will just say the right thing because that's what they're supposed to say. I think he truly believes that he is the issue, he is the problem. But I take that as that because he thinks that way, he knows that he's got to clean it up a little bit, and he's gonna, he thinks he can fix it. Then to your point of the veteran presence, I'm with you. I can't remember if it was on this show or it might have been with Adrian Reyes on his podcast. But like I said, it's like, you look at this roster. I think Flacco's the only one on the team who has a ring. Buckner played in the game, but I believe Flacco's the only one on the roster who has a ring. And I'm with you. I think you need more than that. Sure. Can Flacco's tell some things to this locker room as that veteran presence of, hey, I've been there, done that, I know how to get there? Sure. But I think you need a little bit more than that. I think Flacco is a nice quarterback to have, in AR's ear, obviously. He was there in the early years of Lamar Jackson. So that's definitely going to be a help. But I'm with it. You need more. That veteran presence does make a difference. Especially the fact of like, so as I've said, Flacco's got a ring. Buckner's played in the game. I believe Ryan Kelly is the only one though on the rock. So adding to that, those two have been to Super Bowl. Ryan Kelly's the only one who's been to the playoffs.
Right.
I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think Ryan Kelly might be the only one. Or maybe not. No, sorry, not been. I believe because Brady's been. Ryan Kelly's the only one on the roster who has won a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pittman's, Braden Smith, and that might be it. They were in that Phillip Rivers game when we lost to Buffalo in the playoffs in the first round. But yeah, so Ryan Kelly's the only one who's advanced past the wild card round. Buckner and Flacco are the only ones who played the Super Bowl, and Flacco's the one with the ring. So that's 3 guys on your 53-man roster with postseason victory experience. That's not enough. And now I don't think anyone thinks that we're Super Bowl contenders this year, but we should be committed for the division. We should be making the dance this year. I think Ballard's going to have some questions if he doesn't get it done. While you can make some excuses of the situation that he's had, on the flip side, there are some things he hasn't done. Like you said, open up the checkbook. He has yet to open up the checkbook, and you're seeing it. You're seeing the pain of it now. With Juju Brents going down, with Blackman being out. Mm-hmm. In this past game, Buckner and Latu went down. We don't know their status yet. Hopefully they can go back. Hopefully they're back for this week. Buckner hasn't missed a game in the 5 years he's been with us. But if you don't make the dance this year, and I've been a Ballard defender, but that seat's going to be hot because it's going to be 9 years now with no real postseason success or anything to show for it. There's going to be questions that people are going to want answers.
Absolutely, and it definitely should be hot if that's the case. Um, we just got we got plenty of time. Still got 15 games left. Hopefully we can get it corrected this week and go on a little bit of a run. But now's the time. You can't go down 0-3. You can't go down 0-4, 0-5. Your seasons is pretty much wrapped up after that. So, we got to get it together.
Yeah, got to get it together indeed. But it's a good way to end it off for this one. So, obviously, first and foremost, can't thank you enough, you guys, for, if you're tuning in and listening, if you made it this far, appreciate you guys. If you're not already, make sure you're giving us a follow on Twitter at First and 56. At First and 56 is the at. Obviously, if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can also catch it on Spotify, iTunes Podcast, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, YouTube, the Sideline Sports Network. We are on their YouTube channel. You can catch all of our live streams and some of our past shows on that channel, as well as great other content from other creators for all other sports. But definitely on behalf of myself, Marcus, Ghoul cannot be here. Sideline Sports. This is First and 56 signing off. We will catch you guys on the next one. 156 out.